Hiya, and welcome back to Far Beyond the World. The game that teaches us that the main menu music makes me want to just start crying, and my brain decided, hey, you know what's a great idea? Let's start tearing up to the main menu music. Anyways, let's just hop right in. As we walk through the elaborate door and enter the courtyard outside, I cannot contain a gasp of amazement. The gardens aren't big, if they even can be called gardens to begin with, but the scale pales in significance to how elaborate the scenery is. The courtyard is arranged neatly into 3 sections, small hedged greeneries on the sides and a sunken open space in the middle. The alleyways are paved with intricately laid brickwork, and the grounds are flanked by arcades, holding various marbled statues, all crowned with an overlooking gallery. I follow the remaining guests deeper into the enclosed outdoor space and marvel at the exquisite fountain with 2 jets disturbing the lily-laden water. At the back stands an imposing statue of a white tiger with a fierce growl on his muzzle. He holds his paw atop a globe in an almost possessive manner. Ranok frowns at the sight, and I decide to divert my gaze to different pavilions scattered around the garden, roofed with a beautiful blue cloth. Each such pavilion has 3 to 4 lounges, lit candelabras and low tables filled with various dishes similar to those we just left behind. Portia hurries the staff to ensure everything is ready to receive our quite enlarged party. Tiger youths puff up pillows and restock foodstuffs and drink. Alright everyone, this is the time to relax and get informal. Not too informal, I hope. The female teases, but by this point I wonder if she really doesn't mean it. Please break away from your companions and mingle. Treat each seat as if it were hot. You come, you enjoy the company, and move on to the next. This way we shall all be friends by the end's night. See, logically, that makes sense. However, Magistrate, you're forgetting a very important part. Social anxiety, I'm going to stick by Ranok. Fuck everyone else here. We're gonna stick by Ranok and maybe Lady Wrist. Might be easier for some than others. Lady Wrist shoots a discreet glance to the royal mage while I look to Ranok with worry. He's not going to have much of a time schmoozing with his broken tigery. But the wolf quickly banishes my frown through a confident smile and a quite surprising initiative. He pats the armor-cladded tiger and strikes a conversation with the Lord Commander. He's full of surprises, that's for sure. As I'm about to find the nearest bench to rest upon, I find myself face to face with the bard, who passes me a wine-filled chalice. It would seem, after all, that fate has a drink for us in store. You are quite musical, sir, I'll give you that. I smile at his rhyme, accepting his gift. I'd be a poor bard if I weren't my friend, but where are my manners? He says as I wet my lips, fluttering his hat in front of me and bowing deeply. Willem of Avon, at your service. Kalen, of nowhere in particular. I shrug, realizing that's as accurate as I can get. Everyone is from somewhere. The bard insists and I click my tongue. Everyone keeps saying that. Perhaps with good reason? Considering my memory spans only last 3 weeks and my current residence is Turnet, I suppose that's as good as it'll get. Ha! Indeed I knew you were someone of import. You were adamant of the contrary, yet here I meet you, rubbing shoulders with tigery elites and foreign dignitaries. It's just a series of mildly amusing and chance events that led me here, I assure you. I scoff awkwardly, dipping my lips back into the wine. What is life if not just what you described? World is one big wild ride. Some chose to hop onto it while others would rather see it pass them by. The chance is only as good as those who are willing to take it. On that, I will agree, although one has to be careful not to gamble his life away. I have taken quite a few chances lately. I mutter, cringing internally at the fact I even lost count. Oh, hiya, welcome. That's where the trick lies, my friend. Come, let us sit and talk. I want to learn about you. He takes a seat on the lounge I've been eyeing out, and I want to scream inside. It's not that I don't like this bard, but as Ranok said, they're professional gossipers, and I really don't need more notoriety than I can chew. I'm already choking on what I have. Chalking? We're gonna die. I'd much oblige if you'd tell me more about yourself. You are a curious fellow. Well, hiya, welcome, first-time chatters. He takes a sip from the nearby chalice, but before I can fob him off with some awkward mumble, the beautifully dressed leopardess appears before us. Dear Willem, please do not abandon me. I feel lost without your guidance. The human's about to be choking on something else soon, oh no. Oh, I am sorry, dear. He gets up to his feet and offers her a seat, but the female politely refuses with the bop of her paw. Allow me to introduce Master Kalen of Turnin. Master Kalen, this is Dame Kiri of Altai Karam. In all honesty, it's just Dame Kiri. I haven't been to my homeland since I was 3. My life is Tigeron. She smiles awkwardly, but quickly her beautiful eyes return to me. You say your name is Kalen? Yes, ma'am. Curious. Are you named after one of your grandparents? Grandparents? I blink in confusion. Surely no parent would name their child after themselves. That would be bad luck. Very bad luck indeed. Willem nods in agreement. I'm not sure whom I was named after, nor what does it matter. I mumble awkwardly, not really sure why the conversation makes me uncomfortable. It matters a lot. Willem states sternly. To name something is to claim authority over it. To know someone's name is to be able to call on them. It's a circular relationship between you, your namesakes, and a name giver. Names are powerful things. Very much akin to spells. Dame Kiri concurs, and I cringe at this assessment. It feeds into my growing discomfort with the name I seemingly remember. Is it truly mine, or was it given to me? And if it was given, then by whom? Kalen begins to sit badly with me as of late. Much prefer Ranok's pet name. In any case, I was hoping I could hear more about you, he says, and then turns to face the female. Ever since I met him, I couldn't get my mind off him. Oh? A tiny human with a wolf for guardian living in fabled Turnin, and he speaks multiple languages, including Felanian. He's my obsession as of late. The bard sighs with an awestrucken smile. Understandingly so. His tigery is immaculate. She agrees with a smile, and I feel increasingly awkward being put on the spot like this. I really need to get out of this conversation, especially on account of my multilingual skills. Shall we dance, Mr. Kalen? Keen Snowpaw. Please. Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Go away! Go away! Please! Shall we dance, Mr. Kalen? Dance? Actually, Lord Kane Snowpaw, I have a better question for you. Can you go the fuck away? I wouldn't hate you, nor would I judge you for your choices. I mean, he's conventionally attractive. I just don't like him as a person. Add on top of that, he makes me uncomfortable. Like, he actually genuinely makes me uncomfortable. Like, I can't explain it. He just does. Dance? I blink as Kane suddenly appears in my field of vision and extends his paw invitingly. He looks discreetly towards the bard, clearly giving me a chance to escape him, but I'm reluctant to take his paw. At first I want to refuse. The bard might be nosy, but the tiger has been doing nothing but stirring the pot all evening. It's very much a hammer in the anvil situation, but as I'm about to decline, I notice something alluring. The mage feels almost aglow, with his ice-cold eyes emanating such beautiful light. In the short trance, I actually take hold of his paw and get up. Is that even allowed? I utter breathlessly, still entranced by his gaze. What do you mean? It's just a dance. He shrugs and leads me towards the open space. Oh, well, I'm afraid I don't know the steps. I'll teach you. The tiger pulls me closer, clearly not taking no for an answer. I cast an uncomfortable glance at Ranok, still engrossed in a conversation. What will he think? Don't worry about your wolf. I promise you it's all quite proper. Kane pulls us into a slow temple, and only now I notice there is faint music coming from a three-man band. There's only 3 steps. Like so. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. He demonstrates, shifting his feet between each count. Maybe it's not a smooth transition, but it doesn't take me long to master the steps enough to avoid bumping into his paws. Very good. He nods in approval, and we move into the central courtyard. I've noticed that the magistrate took Dame Kiri for a whirl, and Lady Wrist paired herself with the mayor. One last couple, much less enthusiastic, is Lord Grakhi, who's been saddled with the mayor's wife. I think the female had too much to drink, as she's very agreeable and laughy. Come to think of it, she was mostly silent throughout the meal, simply taking one deep glass of wine after another. On one of the turns, we pass by the magistrate and the dame, and I cannot help but smile seeing the old tiger happy. He's a kind person, no doubt about that. Less generous people would struggle to fake such warmth. Master Kalen? The mage's voice pulls me out of my thoughts. I'm sorry. I said that you seem to be very taken by the magistrate, and so is he with you. It's almost as if he's reading my mind. Wait. Can he do that? You're a doo-doo head! Nothing. Not even a blink. Guess I'm just imagining it. You seem to be very much against him. Most effective insult. You're a doo-doo head, the most effective insult. I respond, not in an accusatory way, but sternly enough for him not to brush it off. Not against, per se. I'm just weary. I find that a smiling muzzle oftentimes hides a fool, or worse yet, incompetence. I wouldn't say that's exactly my experience. I find smiling muzzles much more comforting than the snarling ones. Yes. That I can believe. He chuckles, pulling us into a small whirl. I'm surprised my feet can keep up. But isn't there some form of primal honesty in a snarl? Teeth flashing in the open, the throaty growl resonating in that jagged maw. Very little wiggle room for misinterpretation. Unless it's getting kinky. Wait, what? While a smile can mean a friend eager to see us or a villain lulling us into a false sense of security just before he strikes. No one snarls at a friend. Ha! I snort ungracefully to the tiger's dismay. What's so funny? You clearly never met my friend. I shake my head, thinking of Voland rubbing off a small tear of amusement from the corner of my eye. No question about that. You seem to have plenty wherever you go. Myself, not so much. Oh, really? Oh my god! It's almost as if you're a stinky doo-doo head. Oh my god! You don't have friends! Oh my god, that is so horrible! Such a shocking revelation! You bitch! If I could make a suggestion, I think you could remedy that. Oh? What would you have in mind? A change of tactic, softer tone, and general courtesy. Ha! The mage laughs heartily. I'm not here to be polite or courteous. I'm here to ask hard questions, fully aware I might get unpleasant answers. So that's your goal, then, to stir the nest? I suppose. There's a saying where I come from. Let sleeping dogs lie. Meaning, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, that's what I'm here to find out. If something's indeed broken. Wait, is the text-to-speech bot broken? Because I can't hear it. He reasserts, and I roll my eyes teasingly. Then let me rephrase it.
Don't have
if there's a guard dog about, let it sleep rather than stir it to alertness. What the hell is going on with the TTS bot? Hang on, let me go over to properties. Oh, it did play, but it was delayed. Okay. If your mission was to audit this place, you'd have a far better chance without them at your throat. I suppose there's logic to what you're saying. The tiger concedes half-heartedly. With that, the dance comes to an end and the pairs reshuffle. Well, this was fun. Indeed. Would you care for another? The tiger asks, but I shake my head. Oh, I'm afraid not. I do not want to test Ranok's patience, even if so, the far he doesn't seem to show he minds. After all, we're still on some shaky ground. In my field of work, one must ration one's discretions. And what profession might that be? A companion and a diplomat. Wouldn't want to neglect my friend, nor come across as too eager to fraternize with the royal narc. I smirk at him teasingly, and despite my crude joke, he smirks right back. Shrewd.
It's time to drink water.
Then let me take this opportunity to apologize for my perhaps uncouth comment about your wolf. They weren't aimed at you nor him, but rather to make a general point. I was only joking, Lord Grakhi. I hope you know that. I harbor no ill sentiment towards you. I decide to establish what my real stance is, just in case he's pulling up a front. I should hope so. I haven't done anything to warrant it. Like shit, you haven't! Indeed, thank you for the dance, and I'm sorry for your lukewarm reception here. Don't worry, I've been received much colder. Oh my god, what a shocker. He shakes his head in dismissal. In my line of work, it's a given, but then as a frost mage, the cold never bothered me anyway. Okay, Elsa! I'm glad to hear it. I'll speak to you later, I'm sure. I bow gently and decide to rejoin Ranok, who just finished his talk with Arathon. What was that all about? The wolf bobs his head towards the departing mage. Just a friendly dance. Seriously? First Tano, now that smug tiger? Feels like you're doing it on purpose. Okay, Ranok, we are already in the shitter. We are already in the proverbial shitter. We don't need your smug ass. He says in a semi-serious tone. If you're jealous, it serves you right. It was your dumb idea to leave me here anyway. Besides, if you want, we can dance together now. I'm not in the mood. Of course you aren't. Oh my god, of course you aren't. Ranok, what the fuck is so bad about a dance? Seriously, what the fuck is so bad about a dance? We've already crossed several fucking boundaries. He says in an unusually cold voice, and I frown. Are you seriously that petty? It's not that. Ranok shakes his head. I didn't like what the Tiger Chief's son had to say. Besides, all my instincts have gone haywire. What do you mean? I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right, but I can't put my claw on it. Relax. I think it's just you being out of your element. I shrug, bopping his shoulder. Try to enjoy the party. Can't enjoy it when I speak like an imbecile. Don't take pleasure in making a mockery of myself or my people. Was Arathon making fun of you? No, but he's a soldier. He speaks my language where actions mean more than words. Those fine lords you entertain so well, I have little care nor patience for them. Seriously, they're not that bad. Just try to relax and enjoy some music, food, and drink. The vodka's quite nice. I propose locating a small crystal bottle on one of the side tables. It is, but something tells me not to dull my senses. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in my very bones. The case stands. I'm incredibly uneasy. Very well, I shall sit right here and feel uneasy with you. I sigh, plopping down on the lounge beside him, and the wolf smiles. I'd appreciate that. Now you're changing your attitude! Oh my god! God. But only if you have a drink with me. I reach for a set of glasses and he nods in amusement. Fair play. He watches as I pour a hefty portion into each vessel and takes hold of it once I'm done. We look to each other with a smile and clink the crystal together. Slanty? I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. Again, the spirit hits the back of my throat, and I enjoy how smooth it is. I can see Ranok's on edge, his ears perked up in high alert and his nose twitching nervously from time to time. Last time I saw him this tense was during the hunt. Wish he'd relax, but I decided not to make light of his instincts, and instead of distracting him, I distract myself. I look for the Jarl and the youth accompanying him, and there I find them, chatting now with Willem and the singer. Almost like a mirror image, a young boy with a towering, bulky warrior at his side. He's quite good-looking, they both are. My guy, I can't hear the text-speech. Quite good-looking, they both are. The boy, most likely in his last year of his teens, is slender yet athletic. I suppose most would refer to this body type as a swimmer's build, but he makes me quite conscious of my lack of musculature and a very revealing neckline, considering his tunic wasn't meant for a female. The not quite yet middle-aged man next to him makes my blood rush. He's handsome, no doubt about that. Despite his outward rugged appearance, the warrior has a kindness to him, which he's not afraid to wear on his sleeve. He's draping his powerful arm around the boy, pulling him closer and drawing embarrassed blushes from the youth. I wonder if that's how Ranok and I come across. Bearing this in mind, I decide to be a little less obvious and restrain my fluster when out in public. It's almost like a cheap porno setup. Let me introduce Finn, my son. Wait, their father and son? I blurt out to myself, spitting out some of the drink. Oh shit, how on earth did I misconstrue that? Now to think about it, they really didn't do anything romantic or sensual. I just took their interactions out of context. Just a protective and proud father embracing his son. Yeah, that's a yikes. Do I have daddy issues? Probably. How could I have those through an amnesia? You okay? Yeah. Why are you blushing? I sink my face into the palm of my hands. I'm a complete perv. I thought they were banging. The wolf snorts loudly. So you do spend most of your time imagining others copulating. You're not helping. Relax, is an easy mistake. I thought the kid was a sex servant. I raise up to look at the wolf with a horrified expression. What? Shh, don't make a scene. He grumbles, looking around with embarrassment, but I don't care. After all, no one here will understand us anyway. How is that your first instinct? Is that a normal thing among wolves? I mean, for some, I guess. He shrugs uncomfortably. Is that what I would end up being if we weren't dating? I mean, isn't that what you are, though? Shut the fuck up, Ranok. Shut the fuck up. I have a belt, and I'm not afraid to use it. Oh shit, you're going to... Oh shit, you're going there? Can I get a... I'm just kidding. I mean, isn't that what you are, though? You're still my attendant, and you're very much sexual with me. Okay, this conversation is over. I shake my head, drawing a taunting smirk from the warrior. Hey, you were the one perving on about a father and son. I'm just perving over my slender little boy servant. Bad wolf. I point my finger at him. You're in a doghouse for the rest of the night. I pout playfully, smacking my lips and wondering if another round is a good idea. That's when Ranok bops my shoulder with a hushed voice. The human pup is coming our way. Don't call him that. It makes me... Ranok, you bitch! But before I get to finish, he's already in front of me while Ranok makes a dash for it. Uncomfortable. Hey there. The youth bows respectfully, and it almost feels weird to be greeted in such a fashion by someone very much like me. He stands there, timid and nervously toying with his half-empty chalice. It's amazing to finally meet proper. My name is Finn. Hi, my name is Kaylin, but friends call me Kaylin. Oh, that's a tricky one. Which one should I be? He asks in understandable confusion, and I shrug teasingly. I guess that depends on your aspirations. Kaylin it is, then. What did you mean by finally meet? I ask, deciding to pour myself a glass to put him at ease. Not much, I'm afraid. It's my first time outside of the Broken Isle, so I'm very much soaking up everything like a sponge. That includes gossip. The town's abuzz with you and your wolf over there, he says, barely containing his own excitement, and I cannot help but smile. Oh, you mean Ranok. A wolven prince and his... He pauses, gauging my proper address, and I chuckle. Attendant. Attendant, of course, that must be quite a story. That depends on who's telling it. True, and there's no lack of storytellers in this town. After all, we're in the famous Strand Bard. The kid spreads his arms cheerfully, and I nod. Ha! I saw you at the end. Did you enjoy the performance? Oh, I did. The Flinian was magnificent, wasn't he? Better than the lion, I would say. I snort, remembering the poor performance, and Finn laughs. Yeah. Lions tend to be mopey in these parts, pining over past glories when they owned it all and us all. 1,000 years had passed, and they still haven't learned that hankering for the times of serfdom is not winning applause in Avalon. Or does it? Indeed. He muses playfully, but quickly becomes rather anxious, looking towards Ranok with worried gaze. I'm sorry if this is going to be a bit forward, but is it true what they say? That depends on what they say. Were you captured and taken as a, you know? No, I'm not a slave, despite how it looks and what others say. I release a slightly strained sigh. This running theme is never going to sit well with me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump to conclusions. And again, it's all just so exciting. Finn's hastily explanation returns my previous humor. We both seem to be of same age, and yet you're out here in the world while I'm being on a carefully guided tour. Truth be told, if any of us would be a slave, I'm the one fitting the bill. I gather that's your father. I bought my chalice towards a handsome warrior in the distance. Yes, he's my supposed captor and warden. But it's not all that bad. At least I'm out of home, and he's good at opening the doors, socially speaking. I guess Ranok is also part of my novelty act. I shrug. I'm not sure why everyone finds me so exciting when there's plenty of others who are equally as interesting, if not more. What I've heard, you're headed to the capital to see the Sorcerer King. Indeed. Finn nods eagerly. That's certainly something. I'm almost envious of such an audience. Honestly, it all seems a bit much. I always thought my father was this boorish brute. And I have to admit, I'm pretty surprised. I didn't expect him to be, well, this well-mannered and warm and celebrated. What do you mean? He's your father. Surely there's no surprises there. I haven't really seen him much. He was always out at the battlefront or visiting with distant Jarls. This is the first time I got to see him in nearly 12 years. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. This explains why I was so off about their interactions. It's very odd and hard to explain. One day you wake up to this strange man and everyone insists it's your father. Deep down, you know it's him, but at the same time something feels off, almost as if it were but a dream. Oddly enough, I can relate to that on a certain level, especially with recent events in mind. What was the reason for his sudden return? My 18th birthday, which he missed by 13 months. I'm old enough to become his legitimate heir, so he flaunts me in front of everyone he can help me gather clout. And now I think Ranok would relate to you as well. Finally, I decided to wet my lips in some wine. I doubt it. Your wolf seems born to lead. I'm kind of thrust into this without much say in the matter. Yes, his father played a more active part in his upbringing, but he definitely shared that last sentiment with you. What about you? He throws quite intently, and I blink in surprise. I'm curious if I could relate to your circumstances even a tiny bit. A young human stuck with the savage wolves? Oh, please, give me anything! I'm dying for a good story. All I've heard so far is politics and battle feats, neither of which are things I'm interested in nor familiar with. First of all, they're not savage, I state firmly. They might seem a bit out of touch, but that's because they're very proud of their heritage and aware of their dying culture. Something every human on this damn continent could very much appreciate. It's as if the world has moved on and we outstayed our welcome. What about you, though? How did any of this come about? I'm afraid I'll prove a bit of a disappointment. Some 3 weeks ago I was attacked, apparently, and left for dead. Lost all of my memories and was in Ranok's care ever since. I'm simply repaying debt for saving my life. I stick to our official version of events, as for the time being, not even Ranok is with me on the same page regarding this matter. Mighty curious indeed. How did you end up all the way down here? What do you mean? Well, you're one of us, surely. I mean, I am human, sure. Ha! Meant the Venar. You're one of ours. I've met Freyr before, and their accent is an immediately telltale. I can neither confirm nor deny that. As I said, I've lost my memory. Besides, his testimonial means very little, as so far that's what every creature I spoke to said. Might as well be a damned bunny, or a wolf. Well, Finn, what have you got here? A gruff voice of the Jarl reaches my ears just before his massive hand lands on my shoulder. Ah, handsome-looking lad, though a bit jumpy. You're a lady killer, I'm sure. He winks to the utter embarrassment of his son. Father, this is Kalen. The famous Wolven boy! The handsome man laughs, patting his chest and then pointing to Finn. My name's York, and this flustered little pipsqueak is my son, if you can believe such a thing. I've seen stranger things. Good lad. I assume you don't need rescuing from your companion. He nods towards Ranok, and I shake my head in bemusement. Not in the slightest. Good, good. Wouldn't want to bloody my axe this early in the trip. Assuming you could take him on, sir. I flash my brows and he raises his. Oh, is that a challenge, lad? Hey, wolf! Would you come here for a moment? The Jarl calls out, causing Ranok to discern confusion. As he approaches, the man nods in approval. Nice, nice. A big fella with an even bigger sword and those claws, you could do some serious damage. Ranok, this is Jarl York and his son Finn. I explain, gesturing towards each party respectively. My lords, this is Ranok, son of Varrock, and Alpha of Turnen. An Alpha! Can't say I've ever met one. It's nice to make your acquaintance. Good meeting. My wolf extends his paw and they shake on it. Ha! What a grip on that one! I bet he could rip you open like a water skin. Did you do battle yet, boy? I've heard wolves bleed their pups early. Yes. Ranok grimaces, and so do I. It's not a subject either of us is happy to revisit. Not keen on it, I see. Don't worry, it goes away with time. Eventually you just go numb. You battle? My whole life is one major battle, lad. The Jarl laughs. Between... What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Just, what the fuck? I am not reading that line. Who you fight? The damned dragonkin. If your kind wasn't glued to your sacred trees, you would have been of great aid at the battlefront. You fight in the blasted lands? The wolf tilts his head, and I can see by his ears standing to attention that the topic piqued his curiosity. That would be a bit of a stretch. The bulky male sighs, shaking his head. We've been pushed back to Aranor over a decade ago. The damned war with the Wolven Horde pulled all the Tigri forces from the continent, and with them we barely hold on to what we have. Ashen Spire is true? I blink, not really sure what they're talking about. You've heard of that? To be fair, I'm not surprised. The entire continent was abuzz, a first dragon sighting in centuries. You was there? I must admit, I was lucky to be nowhere near that cursed place. The Jarl laughs again, this time his voice holding much reserved amusement. It was a massacre. 200 Tigrian Panthori knights roasted alive, only one survived. Apparently, the maniac blinded a dragon with its own scale. Wait, dragons are real?! I find myself blurting out and the party gives me a rather condescending look. Of course they are! The Jarl pats my back and I nearly stumble a few paces. The dragon flights might have gone into hiding, but they're still very much real. Sometimes you can see a lone drake scour the barren waste of Urinor. They mostly engage stragglers, very rarely joining real battle out of fear. Ashenspire was the exception. Why is that? We don't know. The man shrugs. With only one survivor, it was hard to find out, but the Dragonkin and their dragon overlords considered it too important to allow its fall into mortal hands. And after that fiasco, the vermin poured out of Dragon R like locusts, pushing us back all the way to the coast. But now with the Wolven War concluded, the Sorcerer King's attention can return to the real threat. Hopefully we can regain a foothold in the region once more. He smiles with confidence, and once again, I realize that there's yet another layer to what's currently at stake. But Ranok's nature as a warrior drifts his attention to something much more personal. Fuck. Ah, my back. Did you kill Dragonkin? If only one. There's a few hundred dead in my lifetime. The Jarl laughs with deep pride. How they be? They bleed like everyone else, but it's very hard to actually win them. Scales you see are like armor on their own. Add real armor on top of that, and it's almost as if you're trying to kill a rock. They're mighty strong too, a proper foe if I've ever fought one. The man pumps up his chest, pulling on his belt, and I could swear I see a twinkle of admiration in Ranok's eyes. He's also quite surprised too. I bet he never thought humans are capable of any heroic prowess. Must admit, I'm quite stunned and amazed as well. That Jarl is a dish all of his own. Fight to take back home is noble. Honor to you, human chief. Ancient history, lad. The Jarl shakes his head. My home are the Broken Isles. Those who get hung up on the past miss out on the present, and if you don't live in the present, just like the dead, you have no future. Agree much. Ranok nods eagerly, and the man pats my wolf on his back. Glad to hear it. He clinks his glass against Ranok's, and they both partake in a short toast. You do not fight to reclaim your ancestral homeland. Why do you risk your lives there? I pose an idle question which catches the Jarl by surprise. We fight for Avalon. If not contained, the Dragonkin would scour the entire continent. They're bent on eradicating all mortal life. We fight for our very survival. I don't understand. I furrow my brow in confusion. What is there to understand? It's a simple continuation of our extermination. In the War of the Dragon's fall, Frey might have bought our kind some time, and with it new allies, while the first Sorcerer King might have killed the aspect of magic and turned the tide in our favor. But the accursed dragonflights and their minions are still after eradicating all mortal life. They're simply in hiding, somewhere out there plotting our demise in their revenge. And you believe that? I ask, dumbfounded by the conversation. Believe it? I know it! I saw it with my own eyes! But why would the dragons want to destroy us? What do you mean? Surely you know the story of our people, the fall of mankind, the breaking of the pantheons, Frey's last stand.
It's time to drink water.
The Jarl lists with growing impatience, and I really don't know how to respond. I'd have read a bit on the matter, but I can't even recall exactly what it was I read. Not that I even understood much of it at the time. He suffered amnesia, father. Finn intercedes in my defense with a slightly annoyed tone, and I smile to him in gratitude. Oh, well, that would explain it, I suppose. But we're at a part. I don't think history lessons are the best use of our time here. I'm sorry, you're absolutely right, my lord. I'm usually one to advocate practical learning, but considering your build being skin and bones, I'd refer you to a library instead. You seem ill suited for real-life adventures. Indeed. I smile awkwardly. Well, this has been fun, but I'm afraid I need to return to our host. Finn? He looks to his boy, but the blonde simply shakes his head. I'll join you in a second. Finn waits a moment for his father to leave before he faces us with an apologetic smile. So, you've met the war hero. That's pretty much what I've endured over the past 2 months. He doesn't seem that bad, a bit full of himself, but then again, from what he said, I can understand that. It comes with the territory. I suppose. He grimaces weakly, looking back at Ranok with similar starstruck gaze I was eyeing out his father. It was nice to meet you, or your Alfiness? I laugh at the awkwardness of the proposed address and my wolf cringes. Just Ranok. Ranok, I'm sorry, I'm still getting accustomed to mannerisms and pleasantries. I might not be a warrior, but at the very least I could not sabotage my father's diplomacy. I'll drink to that. I bought my glass towards the youth. Anyway, I better rush off. My father keeps talking to people while nodding towards me, and I'd rather know what he's telling everyone. He oftentimes gets carried away. It was nice meeting you, Finn, and surprisingly enough, I feel like we're kindred spirits, you and I. I'm glad you say that. I wish for us to be good friends. He smiles, giving a quick nod. Although I must say, it's a bit odd that you chose to reply exclusively in Vinar. I appreciate knowing I'm not thrust ill-prepared into this great wide open on my own. What was that all about? I felt a bit left out. Ranok blurts out confused once the boy departs. They were speaking Tigray to me, weren't they? Yes. He mutters with growing concern. And I was speaking something else back at them. Yes. I have no fucking clue how this language thing works. I plant my face firmly into my palms. This whole ordeal will give me a headache. Relax, we'll just need to be vigilant and keep apart when in company. But, last thing we want is to spook anyone. True. I concede through a reluctant sigh. I'll go find myself a privy. I've been drinking this whole time and I need to take a whiz. Come back soon though, I feel like a fish out of water. I mumble pleadingly and the wolf laughs. Ha! I told you you're a poor liar. This is clearly your element. He sneers before leaving to speak with one of the servants. I can see him being instructed into the building and sigh, focusing instead on the party in front of me. The evening is quite spectacular with different torches and candles glimmering against the golden glass. There's a contrast setting to that at the village. I don't want to be a snob, but it almost has this high-class varnish to it. Then again, it would be odd if it didn't, considering the company. Watch as one of the servants steps into the middle of the second floor and begins to demonstrate different tricks with fire, much to the applause of the gathered. He's a flame swallower chucker. He's juggling various burning balls and sticks, extinguishing them in his muzzle. At the corner of the eye, I can see the human youth engaging in another forced exchange, clearly embarrassed and prodded by his proud father. This must be infuriating at a certain level. At least I couldn't cope. Was Ranok paraded like that in front of the others? I sure hope not. But my attention drifts to the wrist woman, who simply looks Finn over and delivers some of her disapproving quips. It's effective enough to take the wind out of the boy's sails, and as the party shifts over to the tables, he's left slightly behind, defeated. Take a sip of my wine and decide to approach. You alright? Yeah. He responds, putting on a brave face. Just got a similar scolding to yours from Lady Wrist. Must observe proper forms and whatnot. Ha! This place is chock full of lords and ladies. I know we're drowning in nobility, as if there was a sale of titles in the marketplace earlier today, and the two of us were the only ones who missed out on it. For a second, I thought he said if there was a sale on titties. I chuckle. I rather enjoy his company, but before either of us gets to say anything, his father's already calling. Boon! Coming! The boy calls back and looks to me pitifully. Sorry, duty calls. More schmoozing for me to butcher. Don't let her discourage you. She's just a bit of a stickler when it comes to protocol. Now run along. Thanks. He bows and rushes back to his father. Before I know it, I can see Ranok walking out of the oversized doors. Those tigers are insane! The wolf exhales while correcting his belt. They have an entire room dedicated to indoor pissing. There's even an artificial stream running through the middle of it. Sounds like a proper toilet to me. Oh, la-dee-da, my lord. Oh, don't you start! As Lady Wrist said, you don't owe me allegiance. It's the other way around, my Alfiness. I genuflect teasingly. Using Finn's failed address, and Ranok looks towards the blonde. Speaking of, what do you make of him? If you wonder if I regained any memories, I'll have to disappoint you. It's not that. He shakes his head. Although that's good to know. I just meant in general. He's fine, I guess. Well, he makes me uncomfortable. What? I blink, looking to him in confusion, and he simply shrugs. He just does. He states sternly, and I shrug. You and your quirky behavior stat. If you think Finn's a threat, I need to reconsider how accurate your wolven senses are. In any case, I think I need to use the toilet myself. I let him stew, sending daggers at the poor kid, while I approach the toad who's arranging flowers at a nearby table. A damn laptop lag. Portia, was it? Goodness me, I'm sorry. She grasps her chest, gazing at me startled as a deer would into the headlights. Is everything alright? I ask when her paw prolongs more than necessary. Yes, of course. The doe nods hastily as if snapped from the charm. I see that she's discreetly wiping away straight here, and my curious glance catches her attention. It's been a while since I've heard my mother tongue is all. You speak it beautifully. Ah, god damn it. The language again. She chuckles in amusement and I blink. It finally dawns on me. I've likely just spoken Old Sylvan to her, which means... Are you from Turnin? Yes, I was born in Golderin in Belmont Grove. Amazing. I don't know much about other Wolven tribes, but considering Golderin isn't a Wolven tribe, she says more sternly. It's a name of an ancient land predating any wolf who later claimed that name. I'm sorry I've misspoken. But as I issue an apology, the anger and determination melt away from her muzzle. No, it is me who is sorry. I should not be quibbling with guests. In any case, how can I help you, Master Kalen? Oh, right, I was wondering if you could point me to the toilet. Of course, down that corridor through the main hall, underneath the stairs, and on your left. She indicates with her hands, and I'm half surprised to see them with only 4 fingers. The hooves, if you can call them that, are more like oversized nails, and the hand itself looks very much dexterous, if not slightly bizarre. I nod to her courteously and simply follow the directions. Do I gotta pull up the sensor? Yeah, do I need to pull up the sensor? Because we're about to take a piss. Okay. Just like Ranok described, the toilet is a marbled room with stone benches snugging the walls. There's also a channel running through the middle of the room, which reminds me of a self-flushing urinal. Indeed, those tigers lead a life on a completely different level to the Wolven village. I relieve myself quickly and wash my hands in a basin complemented with scented oils. As I return to the gardens, I seem to arrive just in time for yet another announcement from our host. Time for some refreshments. Bring out the ices. The magistrate calls out in the servant's nod, disappearing behind the large doors leading into the banquet hall. Within moments, they all come out bearing large silver trays with crystal chalices filled with what looks like reddish ice cream. I nearly jump up with excitement when I'm handed one, licking my lips at the sight of the glistening delicacy. It's raspberry and lemon compote. I hope you'll enjoy. Oh, dearest excellency, you spoil us. This is pure ambrosia. I have to agree with Lady Wrist. The ice cream is divine! Very fruity and tangy with little to no hint of cream. In fact, I'm sure it's actually frozen fruit pulp with just natural sweetness of raspberries breaking up the zest of lemon. I've missed this. Are you able to make them in the summer? No, of course. When well stocked, our ice cream can last all year long. Ah, such comfort. There's no ice trade in the bay. And it rarely, if ever, snows. Can't you make ice with your ice magic? I throw in idly between the spoonful of the delicious dessert. Ice magic! Did you hear that? Lady Wrist scoffs and mixes amusement and wariness. This is why the hidden arts should be kept under lock and key. Irresponsible upstarts abusing arcane with little to no regard for consequence. I'm sorry if I caused concern with my question. I'm just unfamiliar with magic is all. I shrug, sucking on my spoon. Wielding arcane is very taxing, and even the trick I've shown you requires quite the concentration. The slightest error could change the ice's properties. Meaning... arcane poisoning. Lady Wrist states sternly. Only the Lynx has mastered the art of creating edibles, and that's mostly thanks to the uniqueness of their lands. It's naturally saturated with arcane, thus their food reacts differently with spells. Like Arquine. The female looks at me with surprise and quickly narrows her eyes in suspicion. Because that bottle really was something. Quite. We avoid using any magic on our food for safety reasons. Even if you're absolutely sure you've done everything right, there's still a slight chance that you didn't. What does the arcane poisoning do? I look to Kane, who frowns, scratching his cheek. That depends on the person's constitution. The strongest suffer side effects similar to a hangover and food poisoning. Others suffer delirium and episodes of madness followed by an addiction to raw magic. Since it's poison, you effectively can't live with it nor without it. He shrugs, locking his gaze with the ground and his voice lowers. And then there are the weakest. They suffer internal organs shut down, their body rots from within, causing immense agony. Eventually, their skin turns black, peels off, and they peel like a burst water bag. Spill like a burst water bag. Jesus! I cringe, looking with worry to Ranok and thinking about the bottle of Arquine we shared. Even though they claim Lynx's products are safe, I'm not sure that knowing all that we would have decided to indulge. And seeing Ranok's utterly horrified expression, wide eyes locked with the tiger, I think he's of the same mind. Perfect. This has brightened the mood to no end. Lady Wrist scoffs, looking around. Someone do something to chase this morbidness away. A song, perhaps? Dame Kiri, we beg of you! I won't deny that you would do us a great honor. The honor is all mine, your excellency. Dear lady, the esteemed gathered. The female stands up and gracefully bow in each respective direction. Dear Willem, would you be so kind as to accompany me? I thought you'd never ask, madam. He bobs his hat and jumps up to his feet, grabbing his lute. The flickering candles glimmer against the lacquer of the instrument as the cat adjusts its strings. Once he's ready, he nods to her and the female addresses the band. Do you know the tune of Loveful Ballad? The musicians nod in agreement and she looks to us with a smile. Well then, I dedicate this song to love, lovers, and broken hearts. She takes a few steps back, her shimmering gown fluttering across the cobbled ground as she joins her hands at her waist. She looks to Willem, who strikes the first chord, dictating the tempo to the rest of the troupe. The melody they weave is joyful and energetic, brightening everyone's expressions, but the true joy can be felt when the exalted singer parted her lips. An angelic voice comes forth, vocalizing emotions without uttering a single word. It conjures some deep longing I didn't realize I felt. She's chanting pure bliss and happiness, a true expression of what it means to be smitten. Her feline body follows the rhythm of the music, and she sways and whirls in a hypnotic way. I'm captivated, just as everyone else is, by her performance, and I feel some deep emotion summoned from the depths of my psyche. Her voice makes me feel loved and reminds me what love is. Even Lady Wrist cannot pretend to be blasé anymore, and discreetly wipes away a single stray tear from her cheek. Only Ranok feigns disinterest, slowly picking at his food, but I can see him sneaking longing glances in my direction every time her tune tugs at some hidden heartstring. It's a dazzling spectacle, her whirling dress shimmering with diamonds and brocades, scattering the light like a disco ball. And that voice, something about it makes one forget all worries. Even if just for a split second, I feel fortunate and privileged to be here. Tonight, the magistrate deprived the stranded bard of yet another spectacular performance. I lose track of time watching Dame Kiri dance and sing. The bejeweled brocade of her gown sparkling in the firelight like 1,000 stars. I feel dizzy seeing her whirl, my thoughts getting more and more taken over by her siren-like song. But that dizziness quickly becomes physical, and I begin to wonder if it wasn't perhaps all the booze I drank. Everything feels so bright and sharp and vivid. I feel as if I have 20/20 sight. It burns my eyes. But that momentary discomfort is quickly banished by her voice, and I'm again among the others, enjoying the show. My thoughts become jumbled in utter admiration. It's an otherworldly experience, and once the song is over, we all give her a well-deserved standing ovation. Bravo! Outstanding! Beautiful! Utterly breathtaking! Lady Wrist theatrically wipes away yet another tear, gasping and smiling in an attempt to outdo others in her admiration. You have beautified these halls with your voice, madam. And your dance pretty, too. Thank you. But all the credit goes to dear Willem. His lute strung such a chord with my inner self that I had to let my spirit go free. You're too kind, my lady. Playing at your side was a true honor I shan't soon forget. The stories do your voice no justice. The female smiles softly and gives a humble bow to the bard, looking back to our host. Shall I sing another one, your excellency? Perish the thought. The tiger scoffs, but Lady Wrist places upon his shoulder. Oh, please let her. It's such a treat to have a private concerto. I would be a poor host if I abused our guest's generosity, Lady Wrist. If you wish to hear her perform, you can arrange for a table at the bar. I assume that's where you'll be singing? He asks, but the dame tilts her head apologetically. Only tomorrow. I'm merely stopping here on my way to Wintergrasp. What takes us so far up north? I'm headed to Linksterra. I've been invited to perform there at court. My, you really do get around. First the Sorcerer King, now the Lynxian Queen. Lady Wrist says in an oddly dubious tone. It's hard to read anything she says as something other than disapproval. But I'm amazed. Theirs is the interconnected world of travel and exchange of art and ideas. Ranok's people are missing out on so much. Few ever could boast such privilege. I'm grateful for the opportunities fate has given me. And proud, I hope, as you should be. Your voice is a light-given talent. Pride would be a folly. Gratitude is all I have. Is your excellency sure you wouldn't want to hear another song? No, I'd much rather we enjoyed a relaxed conversation. A taste of your gifts was all that's needed. You three can continue. Master Willem, Dame Kiri, please rejoin our little party. With pleasure, your excellency. Incoming. Wolf bops his head towards the other side of the gardens where Finn got up, free of his father, and walks now toward us. We better split to avoid your linguistic hijinks. True. I smile watching as the wolf takes his leave shortly before Finn arrives at my lounge. What did you make of the performance? She sang beautifully. You don't think she sounded like a cat in heat even a little bit? Finn grimaces and I look to him with a taunting smirk. Is feigning boorishness your way of appearing cool? Cool? I was trying to do the opposite, to break the ice by being humorous. He replies anxiously and I chuckle. That's what it means. You know what? Never mind. I laugh. I'm just messing with you. I shake my head looking back to the gathered. Conversations seem to slowly die out and I hope the evening is coming to a close. Why is your wolf acting all distant all of a sudden? Finn bops his glass towards where Ranok is seated and I shrug. We try not to draw too much attention to ourselves, that or he's fuming. Whatever could have given him such a cause? That you would have to ask our dear friend Mage. I nod towards Kane, who's trying to get rid of the mayor's giggling wife. She's awfully gropey. Him? He's quite handsome, isn't he? I mean, for a tiger. He is. I look to the blonde kid with slight suspicion and decide to put him to the test. His eyes are quite captivating. Oh, I know. We're gonna stop it for the ad when we break from the ads. He's gay! Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And I'm back. One of us. One of us. One of us. Oh, I know. He wastes no time to agree. I tried to strike a conversation, but my father immediately came in to hog all the attention. Why do I have a feeling you're quite taken in by the beast folk? I smile under my breath. I think he might be gay. Aren't you? I've spent my entire life inside my village, never seen an otherkin before. Now seeing them up close, gosh. If there's something about them that makes your heart go bum-bara-bum. Heh, I'll drink to that. I clink his chalice, pretty much certain I am right. We take a sip before Finn draws my attention back to Ranok. Are you close with your wolf? As close as friends can be. What's it like to be friends with a wolf, I mean? Same, but different. I weigh my words, no need to advertise things to the four winds. Oftentimes, I have to remind myself that he's a beast thrice my size capable of ripping me to shreds. Not that he would, though, but it's a thought always at the back of your mind. Preykin mentality, they call it. Finn nods, fixing his gaze in Ranok. But I bet it's also exciting at times. Well, if you'd like to find out, I'd suggest you talk to him. You sure? He blinks, both startled and thrilled, and I cannot stop a devilish smirk from creeping onto my face. Oh yeah. He's quite friendly despite appearances. When you approach him, just boop his snout and say, hey there, Fluff. What? Trust me, it's an inside joke between us. He'll appreciate it. He won't bite my hand off now, will he? He asks in a mixture of jest and real concern. He looks rather annoyed. We're at the Magistrate's Palace. You're quite safe here. Okay. I'll give it a go. This ought to be good. Take a deep sip of wine watching Finn stride right to my wolf. And boop goes the dynamite, and bop on the snout causes Ranok to freeze almost as if it initiated a system reset. There's his confused gaze to me, and I can see his lips utter a silent, what the fuck. I shrug innocently and return to my drink with wild satisfaction. When Finn comes back, sporting a very troubled expression, I barely stop myself from bursting out in laughter. He... Oh my god! No, because we're going to finish this tonight because here is Advent. Okay. He very crudely told me where I can shove my finger. You did that on purpose, didn't you? Sorry. I couldn't help it. I finally let out a chuckle. Both of your expressions were priceless, and you helped me get back at him. Well, not all was bad. The boy shrugs with an odd smile. His snoot is quite cute. And now I get to say I booped a Wolven Alpha. How many others can boast that? I see you're a glass half full type of guy, and no other way to be. We'll get along nicely. So it seems. Fun! Until later. Beckoned by his father yet again, the boy reappears on the other side of the courtyard like a summoned Pokemon. Despite my earlier assumptions, this party continues, and I simply sit there and enjoy myself, listening to music and the lively conversation, gently dipping my lips into the tigery moonshine. Volk can say what he likes, but this stuff is quite good, barely any sting to it, yet it does have a bite. I gently smile at the jokes of the magistrate, yet struggle to keep my attention in check, as my longing eyes drift back to Ranok, who seems utterly lost in this setting. My wolf sits there, grumpy and resigned to his booze, rolling eyes and shaking his head every time someone tries to engage. Such a fussy boy. In a short respite from his schmoozing, Finn offers to refill my cup and I nod, despite it being still half full. I don't want to look like a spoil sport or come across as too cautious in company. The relaxed and informal atmosphere is much to my liking, and I do my best to reinforce it. Finn tells me of his upbringing, which in all honesty mirrors my first few days in the village, full of mischiefs and mishaps. His are a hardy people who value strength and prowess over anything else. Since his build is such as it is, he received little to no recognition among his peers. Confined to his home, he spent most days reading books and learning of past and present in faraway lands. I feel sorry for him, but as much as I want to engage in the conversation, I feel oddly distracted. My ears focus on everything else other than his voice, and it takes almost all my willpower to filter in his words. My eyes seem to have a mind of their own as well, as I keep wandering around the garden. Everything glows and shimmers, alluring me with some vague curiosities. I don't know what I'm even looking for. I watch the string gaze, my eyes lock for a brief moment on a quick and bright glimmer. One of the musicians dropped his lute and reached for his cuff. As he lunges towards our table, my instincts kick in and I finally see a dagger thrust in our direction. I slosh my Everclear towards the assailant right through the candelabra. Swoosh, the booze ignites and scorches his face. Everyone looks in shock in the momentary conflagration, but then the knife shines once again as the musician recovers himself from the initial shock. Pulls on the magistrate's hands, which rested casually across the table, and draws him in closer, ready for a strike.
It's time to drink water.
What is the meaning of this? Unpaw me, you
It's time to
father!
drink water.
The young knight grabs a shimmering
It's time
blade,
to drink
droplets of
water.
his lifeblood spilling onto the floor as he keeps the knife
It's
from
time to
reaching its
drink
query.
water.
With one massive paw swing, he sends the assailant to the floor, gold and silver coins clinking against the cobbles. I jump startled as Ranok throws over his table and sends it flying. At first we're all confused, but quickly realized what he was doing. Through a soft grunt, another assailant revealed himself, crushed by the weight of the piece of furniture. Lights have mercy! What in the world? My wolf jumps into action, his heavy footsteps falling onto the table and drawing an audible groan from the attacker beneath, as he rushes to grab the last musician. He holds him in custody as the magistrate's son approaches with purpose in his gaze, and grabs a commoner by the throat. Good call, wolf. Tell me, scum, who hired you? I don't know, I had no idea what those two had planned. We could serve from the music hall. I play regularly at the Stranded Bard. Honest, on life's loving mercy, I work there. Check with the innkeep. I can see at the corner of the eye as Lady Wrist bends down to pick up a small coin from the ground. She looks at it with curiosity, giving me a rather chilling glance. He speaks the truth. I bud in, drawing everyone's attention. I recognized him. He was accompanying our charming bard at the inn earlier today. Quite right. The barkeep assured me he's his favorite string totter. I doubt a musician of his caliber would throw his life away in such a lowly fashion. Then who are those two? The ironclad tiger bops his head demandingly towards the incapacitated would-be assassins. I don't know. They were the ones who approached me about the job. I was recruited but a few hours ago. Who ordered music? The magistrate calls out, looking around the garden with anger. Well, Portia, speak up, damn wench. Who is in charge of the entertainment? I don't know. The frail doe shrinks into her shoulders, distress clearly painted on her face. This was all last minute, Your Excellency. It's your damned job to know! was about to send a help boy to the inn to hire someone, but that's when those three showed up at my desk. I assumed someone else had arranged for it. She says in a wavering voice to the magistrate's growing ire. For light's sakes, you've let in a group of strangers? Well, they did come with the bard. I saw him performing 2 nights ago. He was summoned at your behest. Foolish girl, your incompetence nearly cost my life. The male shouts out in anger, a furious growl reverberating deep inside his throat. Father, that's enough. Arathon steps in, holding the assailant in his paws. You yourself argued this very night against too scrupulous vetting of our guests. He slipped through in a very clever way. It would have been hard to prevent it. The magister narrows his brows and his muzzle twists into a snarl as he pulls the murderous musician's collar. I hope it was worth it, for you shall hang. Mercy, my lord! The pitiful tiger comes around and begs for a shameless howl. It is his excellency you're addressing, not some mere lord. Lady Wrist snaps, ever the stickler for observing the proper form, even when facing hardened criminals. My excellency! The would-be murderer continues his wailing. I have wife and children, they won't survive without me. Very well, they shall hang with you. Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! 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 It is very simple. Never fuck with women and children. You don't fuck with them. Ever. Keep them out of your beef. Keep them out of your issues with someone. You never fuck with them. Ever. The magistrate sneers, looking to his surprised son with determination. No, I beg of you! See it done, Arathon. Your Excellency! I found myself stepping forward to the total surprise of the gathered. I know that having but survived an attempt on your life, the emotions run high, but perhaps justice should wait until they settle. He tried to kill me at a dinner party. What else would you have me do? He nearly growls at me, all previous kindness banished by this one act of treachery. Whatever you deem fit as is your prerogative. I bow my head in display of submission and deference, softening slightly the expression on his muzzle. Do as you must, but don't do it as an impulse. Master Kalen's right. Arathon nods, drawing the attention of his dazed father. We will exact justice, but there's no haste. He might have something of value other than coin. The old man's brows furrow as he takes a moment to think. Finally, he releases a deep sigh and nods. I refrain from judgment until morning. Keep that vermin under lock. Yes, father. Arathon bows and takes the prisoner into the building. And someone collect that blood money. The magister points to the pile of gold and silver littering the floor. Perhaps it will reveal something of use. Again, the wrist woman gives me a telling look, and I feel quite unnerved. What does she find? You, boy! The magistrate's heavy paw lands on my shoulder and pulls me back to here and now. May all the gods in the world keep you in their favor. You saved my life today. I did nothing. It was your son who... He wouldn't know the blade was coming had you not done your part. The male shakes his head in protest, looking to me with a smile. It was spectacular. Here we talk and enjoy ourselves when suddenly a knife glimmers at night and whoosh! A ball of fire. My word, what songs shall I sing? Willem jumps to my side, pulling at my arm. I witnessed an actual assassination attempt. I would appreciate Bard if you hadn't celebrated my near death with such fervor. But you're wrong, your excellency. The cat shakes his head teasingly and raising a chalice in a faint toast. Brushes with death are what's worth celebrating in life the most! I told you, friend, that I would sing about you yet. He elbows me with a wink and I grimace slightly, unaccustomed to such attention and praise. The hero of Strandbard! He proclaims proudly to the gathered, who give me a round of applause. Hear, hear, a hero! What? Ow! Try to shake my hands in protest, but that's when the magistrate approaches. A hero indeed. What calamity would befall our city had you been incapacitated, my friend? Lord Grakhi's expression falters slightly as he utters these words. You've done us all a service tonight, young man. Feels like nothing what I did. Feels like something anyone would do had they been in my shoes. Here. The magistrate says in a hushed tone, removing a decorative pin from his chest. a bejeweled harp surrounded by a golden wreath. He secures it to my dress and pats it in place. Wear it with pride as a token of my gratitude. Your Excellency. It's but a trifle in the light of your service and the debt I owe you. He says sternly in a loud enough voice for all to hear, and the gathered nod in agreement. Then the magistrate nods look to me with an eager smile and extends his paw invitingly. I would gladly take you into my service, lad, should you wish to stay here with me. I can see Ranok's eyes gleam with renewed thought of me leaving in someone's care. That would be great. Perfect for Kalen. Oh? The magistrate raises his brow at the answer, and then shoots a quick glance to equally surprised me. Back home, not safe. Nowhere to leave humans safe in Tiger Town, but he's safe here at Palace. Of course, he would have work and lodgings here, that I swear. Thank you, Your Excellency, but Ranok seems to forget I'm still in his debt. I bow respectfully and then give the wolf a less courteous look, signifying that I'm having none of it. A debt should always be repaid. I can pay it for you. How much does the tribe demand? The tiger shrugs, and again, before Ranok can even answer, I butt in as politely as I can. I appreciate the gesture, Your Excellency, but I'm not cattle to be bought and sold. The debt is my own, and it is I who must bear it. I wouldn't scotch on such an offer, child. I'm not scoffing. Had the situation been different, I would have taken you up on it. But Ranok saved my life. That's an obligation I cannot shrug off that easily. Surely you can understand my sentiment better than most here. Indeed. A principled fellow. I admire that. Lord Grakhi bops his chalice towards me, and I bow in gratitude for the compliment. So it seemed the human will return with you then? Yes, it does seem. Ranok shoots me an angered stare. Very well then, since the idea troubles you, let me remove your worries. I name Master Kalen an honorary citizen of Strandbard. His life is now under my protection. You will always have a place in my court, child. Should any harm come to you, it will be as if it came to Tiger on Whole. I hope this makes the matters clear, Wolf, especially in the light of our recent history. He gives Ranok a cold stare and my wolf nods. It do, much clear. Good, now if you excuse me, I shall retire to my chambers. Claudius, will you take care of Lady Wrist? Of course, you don't worry about you don't trouble yourself with anything, friend. Hold the fuck up. Wait. Okay. Good man. He pats the mayor on the shoulder and proceeds to leave. I'll have Portia escort the rest of you to your quarters. It has been one exciting night. Indeed it has. Will you be staying with us? The hour's quite late. Seriously, Ambassador, do not worry. I'm just across the street. Lord Grakhi slips his hand beneath the magistrate's arm, allowing himself first sign of informality this evening, and I listen to their fading conversation. You have some rest while I fetch a quill and paper. Whatever for. Don't worry about that, old friend. Just know this money can buy you anything, and I've exorbitant amount of it. We will find whoever's behind this. I don't need money to solve this mystery. Every instinct in my body tells me it's Vortigern. However, I have no proof to support such a claim. Hopefully Lord Grakhi will dig something up with the help of his deep pockets. By Tyr, what a bloody shit show. To think such a... Oh. Take on a veteran. That tiger's a fucking legend! The Jarl exhales, pointing to where the magistrate disappeared inside his palace. And suddenly we slipped into a foreign tongue. Lady Wrist smacks her lips in her staple disapproval and looks to the mayor and his now not-so-giggly wife. I think it's our call, dearies. Of course. The mayor nods, but his wife pulls his arm. Wait, so that's it? I didn't understand the trick. What trick? What are you talking about? The one with the fire and the knife. Darling, we'll talk in the morning when you sober up. I'm honestly not in the mood right now. Lady Wrist sighs and the other female shakes her head in bemusement. No wonder! That trick was awful. Put everyone right out of it. Exasperated, the mayor nudges his wife towards the door and their party departs. Jarl York, my colleague will take your party to your rooms. Portia gestures towards one of the servants and the humans assemble around him. Master Willem Dame Curie, if you follow Fern here, she'll take you to yours. Thank you. The cat nods, patting Dame Curie's arm as the female remains speechless, clutching at her breast. I can't blame her. I myself can barely believe what just happened. As others slowly disperse, I take this chance to speak to the still fuming wolf. Look to him equally annoyed and gently pull on his wrist. What was that about? I was exploring an option which presented itself. It wasn't yours to explore. I huffed defiantly, drawing an exasperated sigh from the wolf. I knew you wouldn't even entertain the idea. Because I thought we already agreed that I'm coming back with you. Yes, but that was because we didn't have any real options. I thought you found your place here. He points to the lush gardens surrounding us. You're enjoying yourself and these people. These people are a nice bunch of strangers I've randomly met. It's not a substitute for home. I reiterate, causing him to give me a sterner look. And you think you'll have one with me? Yes! You'll be a walking target there. He sneers, to which I shrug. But at least I'll be at your side each night. I say softly, which catches him by surprise. I don't know any of these people. I like them, but I don't know them. I know you. I place a hand on his paw and squeeze ever so slightly. Considering my memory loss, I thought you'd understand how familiarity is important to me right now. He looks at me stumped and, to avoid getting emotional, feigns annoyance. Ugh, fine. I smile at his prideful theatrics. Try to ditch me again and I'll slap your ears for real. I mean it. I reiterate teasingly and he laughs it off. But as he notices Portia approach, he quickly straightens up. Lord Ranok, Master Kalen. The little doe approaches us with her hands joined at her waist. Would you please follow me? I will show you to your chambers. No. Lord Kane intercepts us before we're able to depart. Would you leave us for a minute, dear? I'd like to have a short word with them. Of course. She bops respectfully and moves away, tending to the other guests. Your eyes are aglow. Kane mutters, taking hold of my chin and turning my face gently. There's an aura of arcane about you, which explains why I was drawn to you so much. What? I blink and pull away in shock. I'd recognize arcane brilliance anywhere. I'm not a mage, I assure you. The tiger smiles and nods. I know you're not, but there's magic coursing through your veins. Sorcerer King wine. Ranok mutters, rubbing his head as if trying to banish a headache. What? That's right, we had a bottle of arc wine at the Stranded Bard. Feel on edge all night. The wolf continues and I concur. Indeed, I seemed on high alert myself. Everything was so focused. Yeah, that would explain it. It also explains your quick reflex and thinking. That bottle of wine may have very well saved Lord Magistrate's life. Feels even more important to take credit for a beverage. Feels even more improper to take credit for a beverage. I wouldn't say that. The arcane cannot enhance something that's not already there, and what you did took courage still. You're full of surprises, Master Kalen. And with that, he nods to Portia, who approaches and again offers to take us upstairs. Would you please follow me? Of course, we'd be much obliged. I nod and we follow her into the palace. It's awfully calm and quiet at such a late hour, and I feel eerie. It almost seems forbidden to wander these halls at night. Just a moment. Another disruption stops us in our tracks as we're about to scale the steps. We look towards the banquet hall door, seeing Lord Grakhi emerging from them. Oh, thank the heavens you haven't gone through. Lord Grakhi, how can we be of service? I was meaning to pass this on to Lord Ranok. Pulls out a scroll from underneath his tunic. Me? It's a letter to your father regarding his account with us. There are things he should be aware of and a small matter to settle. All should be self-explanatory once he reads it. The tiger pats the scroll as he passes it to my rather weary wolf. Oh, do not worry, no bad news here. Just a little dispute with the recipient back in Bengaron. Bengaron? What recipient? We have a branch there, my brother and I. As for the recipient, I'm afraid I cannot discuss that with you. Usually I wouldn't even try to communicate through a second party, even if they are a blood relation. However, we haven't heard from Varrock in over 3 years. Please ensure he receives this letter. Any other questions you have, you'll have to address with him. Of course, will do. Ranok nods and the tiger bows. It was a pleasure to meet you, Master Kalen. I shall keep you in my thoughts, as you are the sort of fellow one would want at their side. I smile, giving a discreet glance of satisfaction to Ranok. With Lord Grakhi gone, Portia can resume our escort. She lights the path through the marbled halls with a small lantern. Statues of venerated tigers casting long shadows reaching the ceiling. Eventually, we reach a small staircase climbing up several stories. Finally, at the end of yet another gallery, she comes to a stop. Here we are. Portia unlocks the doors and throws them ajar. If you need anything, pull on the cord next to the door. It'll summon a servant. Thank you for everything. Not at all. It is I who thank you. Her voice slightly wavers. Her eyes overflow with moisture. Had anything happened to the magistrate? She covers her lips and releases a quiet sob. I'm sorry. Hey, it's all right. Lays a hand on her shoulder. It was a scary thing to witness. I'm glad His Excellency is safe. He's a good man. Perhaps not a paragon, but a good man. To think someone would want him dead. Shh. It's okay. I pull her into my arms and allow her to rest against my chest. The girl takes a few moments to collect herself, but eventually pulls away. Thank you. I should go and tend to the others. Good night, Portia. I wave her goodbye and look to the wolf who stands in the doorframe, arms crossed and worried gaze glued into the distance. Come, it's been a long evening. I bid him to follow and we enter our sleeping quarters. The room is quite spacious with a large canopy bed placed on a wooden rise. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the sensor because I heard that there was an SFW near the end. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the sensor. The room is quite spacious with a large canopy bed placed on a wooden rise. It's quite warm on the count of already burning braziers when their heat bids us in. Close the door behind us, still very much exploring this sumptuous chamber. The walls are covered in painted plaster, and the one opposite the bed showcases a beautiful woven tapestry. It depicts a hunting party foraging into the woods in what looks like a village fair. Oh. We're still SFW? Okay, well I know when we get an SFW. Various kin seem to enjoy themselves with dance and drink, and the pleasant theme is so reminiscent of the life I've gotten to sample here. You okay? I ask Wolf, seeing as he's poking the logs inside the fireplace. Come on now. I insist teasingly, and he sighs. I'm fine, really. It's just been a crazy evening. It was, but we got through it. I told you something felt off. You did, and I should have listened. Not the first time. Wolf scoffs and I approach him. You're a wolf and I'm a human. Miscommunication is bound to happen. I'm just on edge with everything going on back home. This assassination attempt was the last thing we needed on our plate. Can we just forget about it for a moment and simply enjoy the setting? It's all quite beautiful. I trace my hand over the intricate floral pattern carved into the bed frame. This place is probably worth more than my entire tribe. The thought seems to trouble you. Is that why you've been so grumpy the whole evening? I mutter, gently embracing the wolf from behind. I just can't understand how did this happen. How did my people fall so far behind? Surely it didn't change much since your visit those years ago. Of course not. He scoffs at me. But I was a pup then. I didn't pay attention, nor had access to such company. Everyone here is worldly and well-traveled. My people seem to barely move at all, as if they're walking round in circles. That's pretty much what they're doing. I concede in a solemn voice. I won't be denying the obvious truth out of politeness. How can tigers afford all of this? I mean, this is just a provincial town, perhaps a capital of the region, but still nothing compared to their grander cities. He looks towards the window, embracing himself uncomfortably and allowing a few moments to collect his thoughts. I guess if you'd ask back home, you'd be told they've stolen the riches of others, but I can't see that. Neither can I. The magistrate seems a generous and open-minded male. He welcomes strangers at his table as if they were his own kin. I think that's the main reason of their success, Ranok. Look at the marketplace. Their commerce is booming. Glass, perfume, cloths, items from every corner of the world readily available, not just for the rich, but the middle class too. You don't even have a market, do you? We have shops in the village center. But that's not commerce, that's subsistence. Most of the stuff there is just for daily needs. Any commodity is made to order if you're deemed worthy enough of it. That's not a way for a society to grow. It's stifling. The wolf groans, flopping back onto the bed and resting his muzzle deep inside his paws. Even if I wanted to talk this over with Father, he'd dismiss me. Vither is in charge of our tribe's economy, and any suggestion of change would immediately be seen as a suggestion of mismanagement. At this point, it's not even a suggestion. I think mismanagement should be self-evident. And now this, I don't know what to make of it. He waves the letter in front of me, and I can see a clearly broken seal. You've decided to read it. I say worriedly. Father has 4,000 talents stashed in Bangaron. That's over 200 pounds of gold sitting on the other side of the continent. Do you think it has anything to do with your mother? My mother was never a spendthrift. She was a simple female who wanted a simple life. That kind of money could support an entire tribe for a year or two. I fall silent, not really sure what to say to such a revelation. Indeed, it would seem not only Vither was pilfering the tribe's treasury, but to what end Varrock needs this kind of wealth eludes me. I'm so sorry, you must feel really left out. I knew he treated me like a pup, but I never realized to what extent. I guess we'll just have to prove him how wrong he was not to keep you in his confidence. It'll be mighty hard with us returning together. I smile, hearing him say it outright. So you've made up your mind? I did. His green irises lock with me and he smiles softly. You're right, as always. Nowhere is safe, and since we're both facing peril, I'd rather we did that together than apart. Lips quiver and join my eyes gloss. I'm so happy to hear that. You shouldn't. The road ahead will be rocky. I walked this far. As long as I have you as my compass, I can go the distance. That I can believe. He snorts, taking a short pause in the conversation. You were quite valiant tonight. I'd expect this level of vigilance from a wolf. Honestly, I was just worried about you moping around. The musician just happened to be in my line of sight. Still, you reacted brilliantly. You're also right to be impressed with you. You might be physically weak, but you're incredibly clever. It made me so proud to see you disable an attack without putting yourself in direct danger. Okay, stop before you make me blush. His determined expression, it wavers and I can see his eyes gloss. I'm so glad nothing happened to you. If he harmed you in any way, I would have ripped him apart. Hey, it's okay, the amateur got burned. Literally. He chuckles, looking at me with love-struck gaze. Oh. I give him a kiss and help him out of his gear. Seeing that there's a sizable tub in the far corner, I decide to indulge tonight yet again. After all, we're guests, and if saving the host's life does not excuse some pampering, I don't know what does. I tug on the cord, and soon enough a servant arrives, this time a young tiger, probably in his early teens. Has to get a bath prepared, and while we wait, enjoy a cup of wine each. Within half an hour, the tub is filled with steaming water, this time no perfume and baubles, just like the manly Mr. Wolf likes it. He wastes no time and dunks in, while I give it a moment to let it loose a few degrees. Finally, I join him, nestling myself inside his lap, my head fitting perfectly beneath his square jaw. I rest against his biceps like two pillows supporting my back. Damn, this feels good. Eventually, he embraces me, and I'm half enveloped by his waterlogged fur. It's delightful and helps me to release all the stress of the day. It's been a long one. I could stay like this forever. And we nearly do. Once the water gets tepid, we decide to bail and I help him dry up. Yeah, let me do this real quick, just to show his face. Because that is certainly a face. Try carefully to be seductive, yet tasteful enough as to not cross any boundaries. To my surprise, he simply puts on his loincloth and forces... Yeah. Is anything the matter? You're being oddly tame. Am I? Oh, he's freaky. He's freaky with a capital F. He blinks, looking around in panic, and I grab his paw. You're not upset with me? Of course not. He snaps, quickly looking away with shame. I worry it's you who's still upset with me, so I try to be respectful. None of that nonsense matters anymore. I smile weakly. Come, let us do what we both know we want to do. Are you sure about this? He asks as his shaky eyes meet mine. Yes, I am. Hang on. I want to screenshot that face. I'm going to screenshot that face because it's beautiful. That is a beautiful face. I respond without a hint of doubt. Life is short and our situation is more precarious than either of us realized. Something doesn't happen to me, it can very well happen to you. I'd rather we didn't waste any moments of joy and happiness that come our way. You're maturing by the day. Well, the world doesn't give me much time to idle anymore. The week of coddling at your cottage was all the break I will get. And as much as I tease you about it, I needed that. I needed time to digest and adapt. That's exactly what you gave me. It's clear he's happy to hear that, judging by his thumping toe, but I really don't want to linger on nonsense tonight. Tonight, I want us to finally fully enjoy each other. Okay, then. But let's not talk about that for now. For now, it's just you and me. I am very uncomfortable. Homosexual sideways tango, oh no. Wow. So aggressive. No, I'm not going to do that. They don't. I would like you to stop calling me Kalen and start referring to me as Kalen like you sometimes do. Yeah. What has brought that about? The wolf turns his surprised muzzle to me and I smile. I'm becoming more and more convinced that my name is a figment of a false memory coming from a dark place deep inside my mind. Even if it is genuine, with everything that happened and considering Dane Kyrie's and Willem's warning, it very much seems like a bad luck charm. In any case, it no longer bears any relevance to who I am now. It feels foreign, almost malicious. Malicious? It's hard to explain. I shake my head. I'm simply getting unsettled with the sound of it as of late. Kalen, on the other hand, is endearing. It makes me feel yours and happy. Are you sure about that? More than anything. I smile, but the wolf remains unconvinced, looking up to the ceiling with a clear grimace on his muzzle. But Kalen isn't a proper name for a wolf. It literally means tiny. Feels like almost pup-naming you in a way. Good thing I'm not a wolf then, and I don't mind being pup-named by you. It's actually flattering that you think I'm somewhat deserving of such a descriptor. I say teasingly and he growls back at me. I fucked it up. That you are, Moondrop. I've also noticed that everyone uses their place of origin as a form of surname. Kalen of Turnen has a nice ring to it. It does. But isn't this just you giving up on your memory? Not at all. In fact, I am very much sure I remember everything I should. What do you mean? I know this sounds mad and I won't blame you for not believing me. But I'm absolutely sure my life began the moment I saw a glimpse of you beneath your name tree. I placed my paw on his cheek, ruffling the fluff just as I did the day I woke up in his cabin. You were so startled, both on the count of blood and me speaking your name. Wait, you remember that? It came back to me along with a few other things. I shrugged, not really wanting to derail the conversation with needless revelations. Point being, that's a starting point of my new life, and I want to treat it as such. Whatever came before is gone forever, and I don't want to look back. My future is here. With you. You named me like a parent would name a newborn. I'm Kalen, and I'm from Turnen. My place is at your side. If that's what you feel, then I wouldn't have it any other way. He says, gently grabbing my head and placing a soft lick onto my forehead. I simply spelling myself out. I smile, kissing the top of his head. I was claimed tonight. He made me his. Despite everything, despite all our differences, we created our own bliss. Oh my god. With such a knowledge, I can face anything future can bring. Before I can surrender myself to sleep, a single word from him electrifies every part of my being. Again? I swear to God. That is the last fucking line. Fuck yeah. 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 I don't know. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.